This seems to be working better. We're live. Hey guys, Luna here, and welcome to another episode of That Crypto Hustle podcast. I'm here with Sean Donato, who is the founder of Opti Token. So super excited to have you here, Sean. He's going to share with us some insights, some things that he's seen in the chart. Obviously today, so we are January 10th, 2019. The market is on the down curve again. Bitcoin has gone down as much as 8%, Ethereum as much as 15%. So let's talk about Bitcoin first, Sean. Why do you think we've gone back down? What's currently happening?
Well, we tried repeatedly to kind of break through. I'm going to talk speaking Bitfinex prices because that's normally where I watch charts at. I know there's a little bit of a premium there to other ones, but it's just what I use. It is what it is. I like Bitfinex. I think they're supportive of crypto. I don't like the other exchanges mostly. So, anyways, there was a level at 42.30, which I spoke about a lot for the past about week and a half or so. Mm-hmm. That was relevant, and we needed to break for the past, I'd say about 8 or 9 days. We were in a little bit of a channel in between kind of 4,000 and around that area, and we kind of need to break above that to continue higher. And basically what's happening is there's not enough new buyers coming in. A lot of people are willing to buy in the 3,000s, but there's less people willing to come in the 4,000s. So what happens is eventually, the sellers outnumber the buyers. Basically, it's in simplest terms. Let me see. Actually, Opti Token's Twitter, you can actually follow it. Mm-hmm. You can see we've been saying this for like a week. Levels. Let me quote it exactly real quick. Levels of relevance. We've been saying because on Twitter we like to be really careful not to we like to provide information as opposed to saying go out and do this or that. And really it's because it's like people need to make their own decisions at the end of the day. They need to, but it's nice to have information, kind of like a non-biased information. That's my opinion, because if there's a lot of people who they go out and they give information really bearish or really bullish, and then if they're wrong, people will resent that, or it can really damage people. So instead, we like to put out information hey, here's a bearish scenario, here's a bullish scenario. Here's what would probably need to happen for this, you know what I mean? So in that way, people can say hey, there's two sides of the coin. They can kind of pick their, make their own decisions.
So when we last talked, we were talking about the fact that you were predicting the Bitcoin price would probably stay around the range of 3,800. It's gone down below. I mean, not much more than 3,800. We're still within that range, but as of today, we're at 3,678. And you're absolutely right. I mean, I agree with you. You always have to sort of look at best case and worst case scenario and kind of make a moderate decision based on that. But I mean, is there anything in the news that could have driven the price down? I mean, everything that I've seen news-wise in last week was, Ethereum, the fact that Ethereum got hacked, about 220K on Gate.io, but we'll talk about that later. And then the move of Ripple. So let's start with Bitcoin. Can you share your chart? What do you think is driving the price down?
I don't really think it's news-related at all. I think, at this point, it's people think everything's about news. It's just not.
Okay.
It's really not. There's not much it's. I think the market's becoming a little less sensitive to stuff, mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're kind of used to the FUD. People are getting used to the whole they get it, the FUD and the FOMO. And I think it's more based on just people it's just big buyers and sellers, and
mm-hmm.
overall sentiment. So let me see, because I could search through the news every day and I could find an article that would give an argument for either side.
Got it.
Really could. And then half the time these articles come out and they're like fake anyways. So I'm really selective on what I read.
So you really just look at charts when you're making your predictions.
Oh yeah. I mean, but what news, like real news, can tell me is it can tell me what asset I want to start looking at charts at. So obviously, like if you're Bitcoin is in the news, is like it's been the news for years and years and years, is like this new like technology. So that's like right up my alley, right? New technology, like like disruptive tech, etc. So all right. So you want me to share a screen, you said?
Yeah, let's share your screen. Actually, I read this interesting news. I'm trying to look for it. That the yellow jackets, hold on, let me look for it specifically. And I think that was like really interesting, and that could be a movement that start happening in the next few years. It's loading up. Okay, so
yellow
here.
Jackets?
The yellow vest protesters in France, so 70% of the population is planning to withdraw all of their money from banks to destabilize the government. And many are buying Bitcoins. This was in blockmanity.com. Yellow vest protesters in France.
Who's doing that? France?
Yeah, the yellow vest movement. Really interesting.
Yeah.
All right, so let me go full screen. Here we are. We're looking at your chart.
So, yeah, I just want to, if you go to OptiToken Twitter, at OptiToken, you will see this stuff, and you can watch updates like people like, and you too. Like, you can see, like, here 3 days ago it says this: using at Bitfinex pricing, Bitcoin to the upside, 4230 is incredibly relevant, especially with planned maintenance tomorrow and stop trading at Bitfinex. Short traders, be aware of this level. On the short side, the 3950 to 3970 support level is extremely crucial. Expect momentum soon. This was 3 days ago, and what happened is that level broke, and what happened? We had huge momentum to the downside.
Got it.
So, I mean, this is like, not like, I show you right there. It's, you can see it on my phone. It's 3 days ago post.
I can't see it because I'm looking at your screen.
Oh, hold on.
Can you just pull it up in your screen? The actual tweet?
Pull it up. Real. Because, there's a lot of news and like people out there who just like, they come, like, something happens in the news and they come in and speculate. And it's like the worst ever. Like, I hate stuff.
Well, but
like
I think that happens for anything, right? Stock related.
Yeah, I mean, you know what I mean? Like, it's like they come in and read the day's news. It's like, dude, like, I don't want to watch your, like, YouTube channel to, like, read the, like, what is this? Like, you have, like, nothing to add to this. So, that's just me saying, like, yo, Luna and Sean are the real deal. We are the shit. So, don't listen at your own peril. All right. Here's one. This one right here. Do you see my screen? It says 3475. Yeah. I'm pretty sure the way the volume is and the momentum is right now, this should be the next relevant levels, around 3475 to 3500. However, I'll show you on a chart. We are at a little bit of a slight support zone right now, but I don't think it's probably not gonna hold. Look right here, January 6th. What's today? January 10th.
Yeah.
So this is what I just read to you guys. Expect momentum.
Yeah. So essentially, the upside would be 4,230. Short traders should be aware of this level. On the short side, 3,950 or 3,970.
So when we were sitting around like 4,200, it's a totally good move, especially the way that the market was acting. It was like really like sluggish when it got there, and it was like it just, a level is only going to be tested so many times before it kind of like has to it will lose steam. It's only going to try to break through so many times before it's like the bulls and the buyers run out of money to buy. So if you had opened a short trade around 4,200 on Bitfinex and then put a stop loss like around 4,235 just over this, That would have been a beautiful, beautiful trade. And what happens is, okay, so yeah, it's likely that it's going to go over and it's going to be closed, But at the same time, if you see it having trouble there,
yeah,
and a relevant level, then it's not a bad bet to say what, I don't think it's going to break through. I think we're going to reverse. So let me go ahead, if you put it right around 41.90, I mean that's a $45 loss per each Bitcoin if your plan doesn't go as you wanted. But your profit side is huge. I mean, you could ride that all the way back down to the lower end of this, around here, or you could watch to see if it breaks this. At which point, if it does, then you just want to keep that position open.
Yeah.
And so, yeah.
So let's look at your chart.
Okay.
1 second.
So, this blue line I just drew, I was kind of looking at the hour chart. I've been in this thing where I don't really like the hour chart for a while now. Just because, it's so, I can't watch an hour chart all day. It's really a pain. And, the hour chart's really only relevant, intradaily. It's harder to get a read, what Bitcoin's going to do in a week or a month from something as small as an hour chart. Okay?
Yeah.
Not saying that you can't find interesting patterns and info, trend lines, stuff like that. You can see one right here. Yeah, it's just, that being said, it's very quickly come back into one of my favorite charts, when I started playing with this new tool, the DVDI, which I'll get into in a minute. Because you can see the price is currently right around here.
Yep.
The price is currently $37.10 on Bitfinex. And so we see that it's retesting a previous low.
Yeah, that was December 27th, yeah.
How did you know that?
Well, it says it right there.
Oh, my screen says, okay. I was like, damn, yeah, okay. I was sharp. So yeah, this looks like it's having some trouble there. This level was also relevant in the past as resistance. And resistance and support can totally intertwine. I see more often than not the opposite, where old support becomes new resistance. But there's no reason why a trend line can't act on both sides, as you can see. For some reason, some levels are just emotional, or just I don't know. They just matter. I don't know why, but they just freaking do. And so, anyways, but I don't think this is going to hold much. Let's see. So, all right. Here's my new favorite toy. I'm really excited about the DVDI.
Yeah. Where is it? Can you show us specifically where it's in the chart? Is that okay?
It's this whole bottom.
The whole bottom row. Okay, got it.
And I have a theory that what I've done is I'm not gonna. It's gonna be hard to scroll all the way back through, but I've basically went through the history of this chart. If you scroll to the left a lot, and what I'm doing is I'm looking for patterns when big changes happen. Like for instance, this one here. We could look at this one here today, so as of last night, so this move happened not too long ago, okay, down to around here, and it wasn't relevant yet on my new signal. This morning, waking up, it was immediately relevant after this move. And also, just the volume alone on a move like that, it was high enough for it to be really bearish.
So what do you mean it was relevant? You mean the DVDI short was relevant?
I'll tell you why, because I have a new theory about how to use this tool.
So what is it exactly?
It's just, basically, it's, let me try to think of a way to explain it easily. So basically, it's it's similar to it's showing us volume, and in a way, it's similar to showing where the cash is flowing, where the money's flowing, and that's how I kind of interpret it. So here, you can see there's a big divergence from kind of the zero line into the positive side of volume. Okay? So essentially, what that says to me is there's way more buy volume coming in this time period than sell volume. And enough so to where it's going to be, price positive. I have a theory that a move of 5 units or more is indicative of a trend change. So here it's negative 2.54. We're looking at the positive divergence, okay? So it's in the negative, and that's actually this yellow sign. If you can see if you see the numbers right here.
Yeah.
This would be let's look for the yellow one. So here we're at 2.5, and here we're at 3.32 already. Okay. So, okay, what does it mean? So yeah, there's a big candle up too. Okay. Well, it's like it looks like a trend change. However, this kind of candle can happen without a cash change in the way the money is flowing in and out. So when we see it flowing to the positive side, it means buyers are coming in, and it's probably a good indication that the price can continue in this trend. And so what's happening here is you're seeing it continue. Now, if we look for a candle like this that doesn't have this correlating to it, we may find that it's fluky. So let's look for that. Here's another kind of move. Well, what's the difference in the prices? Here we're at -3, and here we're at positive 2.5. So we're having basically a rapid change of about 5 points from negative to positive or positive to negative also. And I believe that this is a instant verification in a way that there is a trend change. And what do we have today? Up 2.3, 3.0.
Yeah.
That is bearish. And it was actually you could catch this on the first one. It's almost like, look at that. 2.67 plus
But that was today.
It's like exactly 5 ticks. So, exactly, that was today. It was that big first candle.
Well, so how could you have predicted that? I mean, looking at the charts. That today, there's no way to predict what happened today, right?
You can't predict the first one. This first bar down, you're dead to rights. But what it means is that it's not one of these. Okay?
So does it show that we're going back into sort of like a bearish loop?
Well, it basically it can't tell me much more than we're going downward. I can look to if I want to look to where it's going, then I start looking to where the next support levels, like this blue line.
Yeah.
Where did it go? To the blue line. Actually, and this blue line though, I drew it after the fact, so it's not like I didn't have this drawn first actually. But I did open a short right here, and this morning, and I really wish I had opened something earlier. I had stop losses on at 39.50, but they had been false triggered like a week ago, or like several days ago, and when there was a dip under it, and it didn't hold though, and I didn't reset them. Whatever happens, so I missed out. But right now I'm still short, and I did get this much. So this is huge. This is like you can become rich off of trading like this. Look at this much profit.
Yeah,
that's huge, man. That's like I don't know, 6 $200 maybe. Mm-hmm. Shoot. So that's a really cool tool. What I can say is that if this level breaks down, then we're probably going to head to that 34.75 level I talked about.
Okay.
And that is on a different chart, but I assure you it's relevant. And I've been posting about it for days. It's still there. It's still relevant. I've still been watching it. That's the next little hold zone. So what we could see happen is we could see Bitcoin take a dip down to around 3,500, dip just under, hold that 34.75, and that may act as sufficient support. It may or may not. Now, if it doesn't, then we're probably just going to be in a pretty bearish trend. One thing I also mentioned just this morning, this is on the 6-hour chart. I mentioned when I first posted this, do you see where this line splits off?
Yeah.
This is new, okay? This is a second candle. So earlier today, it was right around here. And what this says to me is that you see the breakdown and all these stuff?
Yes.
And we go here. Well, we ain't going to stop at 38. It was at 38. We're going all the way to oversold. So I'm looking at these charts, that other one I just talked about and this one. Perfect time to open a trade. And basically my target is oversold, which we're at. And that's short term. Doesn't mean that's, because, that's just like on like okay, I want to open a trade and close it. This is a great time to close. I actually probably should close my position because we've reached this. But it's in a tweet from earlier. I'll show you. Look, it's right here. I'm bragging. RSI looks primed to trot back down to oversold territory. See, that's where. Let's see. I can't see it. Well, as you can see, it's around 40. It is around 38 when I wrote this. And now it's down at 30. So now it's an oversold.
So what is RSI?
That's the relative strength index.
Okay.
And it's a really cool tool. And basically, it's just saying something's either too sold or too bought. So, so it's saying if someone's oversold or overbought.
It tracks the volume.
No, well, it would actually more, it's volume by, I guess, price by, like, time. It's kind of, it's a difficult, we can look up the exact, formula, but let's see, exact formula. But, I mean, essentially what it's saying is, like, when I think of RSI, I'm thinking of, like, time frame and price mostly, more so than volume. I don't know how it includes volume in it, but if something... Yeah, I mean, it does make sense for it to be in there, for sure. Let's see. Oh, wait. Okay. So...
This is makes no sense to me. So,
well, basically, it's saying the average of all up moves, average of all down moves. Well, if the price moved up $10 10 times, or like 2 times, and then it moved down $20 2 times. Then it's going to be on the lower end, right? So it's going to give us a lower number. So essentially it's saying, is it been moving lower or higher overall, okay, over N, this period of time. And if it's been moving lower for a period of time, It's going to come to a point where it's going to have been too much, and it's going to basically be parabolic and unsustainable. So RSI is a really good indicator on kind of like on parabolic moves. If the price were to keep going down, like to right here, then we'll probably go over to like bigger charts, and we will see that reflected there. Okay?
Got it. Yeah.
We will see this come down. So here's a bigger time period, N, and we'll see that reflected here.
So let me ask you this. How are you using RSI versus the DVD, what was it? The DVDI?
It's DVGI?
Oh yeah, DVDI. Yeah.
I just found it the other day. I really love it. And
where did you find it?
Just nerding around on TradingView.
On TradingView, got it.
Yeah, just nerding around, yeah. I heard this guy mention it too, like a while back, and I never thought anything of it again.
So you look at these two tools in order to like figure out if they're aligned, or how does that work?
I'm sorry?
Do you look at whether or not they're aligned and then make decisions based on that? So look at if the DVDI is aligned with the RSI?
No, I don't really care about the RSI as much.
Okay.
The RSI, yes, but the RSI is a tool you want to use in a pair with something else. You don't really want to go out and just trade the RSI. Although, if you did, then you may still be profitable when, if you're, as far as, if you only bought like oversold on like the week or month scale on a pretty big time frame, you wouldn't have very many trades, but you'd probably, and then you sold like, I don't know if you'd make it all the way to overbought though. But if you're only buying when the week chart is oversold, you'd probably be pretty successful. That being said, yeah, you could even ride it into overbought. It's yeah, I wouldn't really.
So then just to kind of recap, like as far as predictions, you mentioned the fact that we're probably going to be looking at, was it 3,470, right? Something like that.
Pardon these lines, they're probably just some other time frame charts, and they just stay on there.
Yeah, so and how long do you think we could potentially stay on there? I mean, any idea? It's hard to say.
Stay on where? I'm sorry.
The 3,000, like 3,700 territory. How long do you think we could potentially stay there?
Oh, I don't really see us going back up anytime soon.
Really? Okay.
Oh, I mean, why? We couldn't break 4,200 last time.
Yeah.
So I don't think we're going to be in a rush to go back up. Now, there is a chance that we could still have like the 4,800 level on the targets, 4,800 to like 5,000, which is totally emotional and relevant level. But like there's kind of a break, because there's a pretty big move from 3,100 back to 40 to the 4,000s. So there is a possibility that we just move down 3,500 sideways a little bit, and then we try again and we succeed. But I don't think it's going to be something fast. So when you say how long, I wouldn't be optimistic about having some quick reversal back to the upside.
All right, so this could be an opportunity to just continue buying and just looking more long term.
I wouldn't buy yet. I would wait. Definitely wait.
That it goes even further down.
Let's see here. Yeah, I would see if we go and test the 200 week moving average again at 32.58 on Bitfinex. I would definitely go and see what happens there. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I don't think we're in a rush up. We can try to use some things to help us with time. We're not getting much good yet. Last week, you remember we started talking about that cool thing like that other new tool, like the ribbon one.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the guy who's talking about DVDI, the guy who made this. That's where I heard it. And then when I saw it again, I was just looking for different volume metric tools. Basically, I was looking for actually something, exactly what I was looking for was a tool that measures divergences in volume. And that's where I found DVDI. So let me go back to the day chart, which is where I found this really cool. So last week we were talking, and remember we saw this and we were like, oh, yeah, like this looks like it's kind of pointing at March. Mm-hmm. And another thing that's pointing at March is this here, which I didn't get to talk about. So the month, if we were using Tom DeMark sequentials, excuse me, I have a nasty cold.
No worries.
Okay. So right now we're on 6. And so this would kind of be pointing to March-ish. Mm-hmm. Now, technically, it's more pointing to like April-ish. And then it may take as long as like May even to see like recovery. But if this does go and reach a 9, then yeah, here we're in the 6 now. That's January. 7 is February. March is 8. And then April's 9. So, that March time frame, like, and it's very possible too that we kind of hit a bottom around. It doesn't have to come exactly in April. So if we were to make it to an exact 9.
All right, so let's switch to talking about the recent move of Ripple. And let's look at Ripple versus Ethereum.
Okay.
So because now Ripple's in the second place. Yeah, Ripple's in the second place. And apparently, actually, there was news from the Ripple CEO, Brad Fireback, that about 200 plus financial institutions are leveraging RippleNet to make international payments. So this is quite a big news on the Ripple front. Positive news. As much as we, I guess, us crypto enthusiasts are not fans of Ripple, I mean, it seems like it's making headway.
Yeah, well, looks like it to me too. Okay, it held some support here. So, I've literally never looked at a Ripple Ethereum chart. I don't know if I've ever really looked at anything besides the USD compared to Ethereum or Bitcoin. But yeah, that's something we could be doing more of down the road. And since we found a chart for it, and we were talking earlier, may as well look at it. So, yes, here we got a 9 and a perfect recovery after. This would be a good trading point. Could have made some money on if you trade this pair 3 days ago. Now we are hitting a moving average, so it could be it's having some trouble. I don't like the wick on top of that where it's going coming back down under. But at the same time, that's a 20-day, and I'm usually not too worried about the 20-day. Around when we get to the 50-day and above is when I start. For me, I really start respecting those moving averages. So,
question to you, and this is like a complete newbie question actually. Why is Ripple in the second place considering the price for it is 32 cents? Ethereum's price is 127. I don't understand why would that, like what took Ripple XRP to second place? Is it volume?
Well, I guess they lost less. Well, in this drop, they've devalued less than Ethereum. You can see it right here.
I see.
So that's really all it is that Ripple's become, against the US dollar, Ripple's become less, taken less of a devaluation as Ethereum has in the past few days. So now, unless there is some kind of a change also in circulating supply or something.
Well, yeah, I mean, they got hacked. Ethereum Classic.
Well, that's not Ethereum, though.
Oh, yeah, true.
Yeah. But, yeah, that probably wouldn't... Yeah, I don't know if any... Maybe they... Who knows how much Ripple and Ethereum there is? I don't even know. But, or like how they do
circulating supply. Wait, I have it here on CoinMarketCap.
Really control their supplies. I have no idea. But I like Ethereum, and I don't like Ripple.
Yeah, but I don't. It's funny because I mean, I think that applies for a lot of us crypto enthusiasts. But Ripple, on and on, just keeps on proving us wrong and keeps on smashing it. So
my only problem with Ripple is that they don't require these places to like use their coin. And, like, I don't think like the XRapid thing is cool, but like, what is that just on their ledger system, or is that with Ripple somehow?
Well, it seems like it's just to help banks as far as starting to have digital currencies and make payments faster on their end. Because you're right. I mean, there's right now, I guess for us, like, where do you use Ripple? I mean, there's no, you know what I mean? Like, most of the time we're either using Bitcoin or Ethereum to make payments. Like, we're not really leveraging Ripple. So Ripple might be more sort of like a B2B, perhaps, crypto, where essentially they're just like bringing in as many banks as possible to, for them to move into their network. And I mean, in some ways they're competing with Ethereum. I know Ethereum was working hard to have as many institutions as possible to also start using sort of their own cryptocurrency or like create their own cryptocurrency using the Ethereum platform. So, I mean, I know they're like kind of two different beasts by all means, but I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, Ripple is like, it's just a ledger. It's weird. I don't even really, it's stupid. And if you ever try to send Ripple, it's really a pain. And actually, here's a little, maybe a not super well-known fact, is that if you send your transaction, now this was as of like this was like some years ago, the last time I actually tried to send Ripple somewhere. If you send it wrong, so there's like a tag, and then there's there's two information boxes to fill out with your transactions. There's not just one address box, okay? Mm-hmm. And then amount. There's like an address, and then there's like a tag or something. I don't really remember. It's been some years since I sent Ripple. And apparently if you do this wrong, you can actually lose all your Ripple that you were sending. So, that's like really shitty, And that's really not a friend to adoption for them.
Yeah.
Because, no old lady is ever going to use that. It's like let one old lady use.
But maybe that's not their customer. I mean, it seems like their customers are just banks who are trying to create their own cryptocurrencies, and they're using the Ripple network. So yeah, they're gonna. I don't know. I have no idea.
But no, here's the thing, and we talked about this before actually. Well, what if one day Ripple announced, what if they got all these banks and companies acquired and all these partnerships set up, and then overnight they're like, we've decided that you guys have to use Ripple to utilize our service, and they really made it a utility token. Well, then all of a sudden, out of 200 there might be some of their partners who might be like, no, we're good, we're cool, all right, peace. But many of them are going to be like, okay, whatever, dude, sure. And all of a sudden, the token's super, super valuable. So that's the thing about Ripple, and that's why it is something that people can make a ton of money on potentially.
Yeah, I think so
but,
too.
I'm
really, and I have to agree. I'm really starting to by all means, I understand the fact that it's centralized and it goes against what the cryptocurrency community is trying to do. But all signs points to the fact that they've just been really aggressive and pretty successful compared to other platforms as far as being able to gain momentum. All right, so we're actually at the 40-minute mark, Sean, so let's have you back on screen and just kind of conclude where we're at. Is there something else you want us to look at?
I don't think so.
Okay, so let's go
back. You can look at anything anytime you want. You just tell me what you want to look at.
Sounds good. So, just to kind of recap, so as far as prediction for Bitcoin, for 2019, based on the chart, if we were just kind of like recap. So right now we know that set us up as like 3,700 until May is what you were saying. Are you there? Sean! We lost Sean. Where are you? Alright guys, let me call him again. One sec. Sometimes it's just easier. Oh, yeah, there he is. Let's try this again.
I am still going to say that I have no evidence that Bitcoin needs to go out and go under the 50-month moving average or the 200-week moving average. I have seen, and I've been talking about the 50-month moving average for weeks and weeks and weeks. Before, like, you know, and it's very popular. It was very popular a few weeks ago. We're near. It'll become popular again. You'll see. The evidence in history, we've only seen it drop under that mark very temporarily and not by super far. So I don't think if it does go under, it has to go very far or stay there for very long. So, you know, is there a possibility that Bitcoin goes to like around 2,500? Sure. Do I think it's going to happen? It's, you know, it's probably 50-50. So, but I would bank on it not going below that. Let's just say that. And that I think it has a high likelihood to not even hit the 50-month moving average, but to get really close to it. You know, moving averages, you don't have to hit them exactly because they're averages, okay? And people don't understand this. A lot of times it will, but a lot of times you just get close, and it still acts the same way. You know, it's average. It's not precise. So that's what I would say. Now, when this happens, I like this tool that's kind of pointing at March and April, which I was just talking to you about. Mm-hmm. Like, look at that. This is pointing toward like right around like mid-March, you know, I think. And like earlier I was just talking about April and with the other indicator. So that's, for me, like, this is I don't have any other evidence to suggest anything else. Mm-hmm. I have an idea that this, you know, I can use this idea and this hypothesis and test it. And, you know, I can try to maybe buy some coin if I see an opportunity in this time frame, and go from there. You know, like, I'm a trader. I'm going to take some losses, and I'm going to have some wins. Yeah. And, you know, I try to aggregate, as much information and as much evidence as possible to make these, to make moves by. So that, my friends, is what I would say. Now, I don't think it's going to turn bull, though, then. We got a while. It's not, no bull market's coming anytime soon. It's going to be a whiles out.
All right.
We got a few. So.
Uh-oh. Sounds good. Well, thank you so much, Sean, for taking the time to speak to us today. I really appreciate it. And guys, so make sure, a couple things. If you liked the video, you found the information useful, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to That Crypto Hustle. We're going to do this on a weekly basis. Tune in every Thursday. Sean is going to be sharing his prediction and sharing charts with us. And make sure to follow Sean, Opti Token, on Twitter. I'm also going to include his Telegram group where he provides information on a daily basis. So make sure to do that as well. Is there anywhere else you want us to follow, or?
I don't know. I mean, like, yeah, we just love, we love followers. Obviously the Telegram group is cool. Like you said, I do have a few little trading groups here or there. I just try to, share tips and just, I don't know. It doesn't hurt me to, post an idea when it comes to me. I used to be afraid that people, it's like, oh, I don't want to, give out those ideas. And I just realized that, only a few people actually follow that advice. And if we can help a few people, cool. There's no, nobody's out, going, there's no, the idea that, something's a trade secret is, it's just, really not, man. Most people don't use it, and if you can help a few people out, that's totally cool. and the karma will come back, like it's just, yeah. So I'm down to share like whatever these days,
Cool.
Yeah, so come check us
So
out.
make sure to check them out. All right, guys. Till next time. Later. See you, Sean.
Bye, Luna. Thank you so much.